Free Fire is the newest in the lineup of A24 films and their continuation of releasing original films over these past couple of years. It's directed by Ben Wheatley and stars Charlton Copley, Cillian Murphy, Jack Reynor, Brie Larson, and Armie Hammer. It centers around a bunch of different people who are in a warehouse, and when all hell breaks loose during a gun deal, it breaks out in a firefight, or free fire. So, I didn't know too much going into this movie. I had seen the trailer a while ago. I don't remember very much from it. I knew the plot line. I thought it sounded interesting. A24 has done a great job giving original filmmakers the keys to making their original plot lines in their original films, so I was very interested to check this one out. A24 has been on a roll. They've got a great slate this year with things like A Ghost Story and It Comes at Night, which I just saw the trailers for before I saw this movie. And overall, I like this movie. It is a good movie. It's a fun, enjoyable experience that I had a blast watching. It's not great, and it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. This is a good movie. There is something that the director and the writers of this movie were clearly trying to do. They had this concept and this look and idea for how they wanted this movie to turn out. It's obvious that they were going for that, and I think they succeeded for the most part. There's one specific issue I could point to where I would say that didn't work so well, and it actually ended up impacting the movie for me a lot more than I would have wanted it to, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Let me start out with what I liked about it. Simply put, like I've been milking about A24, this is a creative and original movie. It's very rare to see like an hour and a half to 2 hours of just action and have it be good and have it be released by a studio. We saw it with Mad Max Fury Road about 2 years ago now, which is crazy. And this is a much smaller movie, and it's about an hour and 10 minutes of this movie is one scene, and it's a giant shootout. It's creative, it's original, and that makes it very interesting. You're really into this movie from the second it begins. Hell, just from reading the plot line, you're kind of sucked in. You're already interested. You're like, I want to see how this plays out. It's an original idea, and unfortunately, in today's day and age of Hollywood, those are getting harder and harder to come by, so it's always really nice to see a movie like this come out. What makes this movie awesome is that it's a fun and enjoyable, thrilling ride the whole way through. You're never bored. I can give this movie that much credit. You're never bored watching this movie. You're always having fun. You're always thrilled. And at some points, you're even on the edge of your seat. I was always invested into this movie. I was never really taken out of it. Like I said before, I had a blast watching this movie. It's just a fun movie, which, yes, usually from what we've been seeing, A24 has made a lot more intellectual films. This isn't exactly on the list of their most intellectual movies like Moonlight or The Lobster, but it's still a good movie, and it's following suit as to what they've been trying to do, which is to get those original pieces of filmmaking out there. The performances in this movie, for the most part, were really, really good. And a lot of them were very surprising because there are actors in this movie that a lot of people don't know are good actors. Jack Reynor, for instance, has gotten a very bad rap because of that god-awful Transformers movie. But he's a good actor. He popped up in Sing Street. I thought he was great in Sing Street. I thought he had the best performance in Sing Street. He was great in this movie. I'm excited to see what else he pops up in. He was on the shortlist to play young Han Solo. He's really going places. Charlton Copley, who I knew the name and I didn't know who he was, and then he started talking. I was like, holy shit, that's Chappie. He did a great job. He was interesting. He had a great kind of personality and demeanor to him that Charlton Copley was able to convey really well. Armie Hammer, I kind of thought stole the show for me, which I didn't expect. He's another one that it's like you see him pop up every now and then, and you kind of remember that he's a good actor. He's excellent in The Social Network. He did a great job with the 2 minutes he was on screen in Nocturnal Animals. He's a really good actor, and he was great in this. I really do think he stole the show for me. Not only was he, in a way, layered, but he was funny, he was interesting. I always loved watching him. I was always kind of rooting for him, too, even probably when I wasn't supposed to be. And who is the fucking other one I'm missing? Cillian Murphy, another one that we all know is a great actor. He did a great job in this movie. He did what he had to. The one that I was underwhelmed by was actually Brie Larson, and I'll get into that once I get into what I didn't like about this movie more so than what I did. This is an action-packed movie. If you like action movies, you're gonna love this movie. No, it's not crazy, ridiculous, over-the-top action sequences. It's an action movie, but it's at a slower pace in a way. It's not shit's just blowing up left and right. This is no Mad Max. But it's still a really cool action movie with an hour and 10 minutes of people shooting at each other and quipping at each other. If you're a fan of the action genre, you're probably going to like this movie. It's probably something you've really never seen before. It's very different from anything I've ever seen before, and I enjoy the hell out of it. The other thing that I really loved about this movie is that it is funny as hell. I didn't really know that this movie was sort of marketing itself as a comedy film, but it's really, really funny. And I think a lot of that is due to the solid script. It was written by Ben Wheatley and his wife. His wife's name I can't remember right now. But it's a funny, funny movie. I found myself laughing out loud a lot more than I would have expected myself to. And I was probably pissing off the people in the theater a lot more than I should have been. It's a very comedic movie, and that's very much due to the solid script that's written by these two people. You can really tell that they had all these jokes in a way planned out, but then a lot of them were organic in the way they came onto the screen. They have this great thing throughout the whole movie where someone will be talking and they'll cut away from them and show someone else, but as opposed to just like their talking is still at the same level of audio, it gets like farther and farther away, and they'll say like a really funny line, and for some reason it just makes it funnier. I can't quite point to why that is, but it's a very, very funny movie. It's a great action comedy film. And it's funny because this movie almost feels like a video game. It's weird. It's not a video game movie, but in a way it is. Just the shit that it's impossible to describe. It's just this feeling you get. If you play video games, you'll probably walk out of this going, huh, that's similar to like this game that I've played with little hints of this. And I guess speaking of that, this movie, there's a lot of inspiration from different things. I was shocked to find out that Martin Scorsese executive produced this. I did not know that, and the opening credits came on. I was like, holy shit. Ben Wheatley took a lot. One that I could point to significantly was Reservoir Dogs. You can see a little bit of these kinds of crime action movies sprinkled in a little bit to make this overall original concept. So getting into what I didn't like about this movie, I'll touch on what I already kind of talked about. Brie Larson, she didn't have a bad performance. She had a fine performance, and I think she stuck out as not being as good because of how great the other ones were. We all know how capable she is as an actress. She's an Oscar winner for Room, which I think was a 100% deserving Oscar win performance. She's an incredible actress. Kong Skull Island was underwhelming for me, and this was underwhelming for me for her, and I think going into Captain Marvel, I'm really hoping that she's, kind of ready to go. I don't know if it was her fault. She wasn't given much to do. That is in the bulk of the story. The first 20 minutes, she was really doing a very good job because she had stuff to do. Her character sort of moves to the background. She sort of becomes this character that they talk about, but you don't see that much. So I don't know if I completely blame Brie Larson for her performance, but it certainly wasn't anything special. Whereas watching those other four actors on screen, it was cool in a way because it almost seemed like a privilege watching them perform, whereas she was she was good. So the one main thing that really kind of took me out of this movie and is stopping me from calling this a great film, there are a lot of times in this movie where the style of direction doesn't meet the tone of the movie that he was going for. Like I said at the beginning of this review, there is a clear tone and result that Ben Wheatley wanted this movie to have when he went into it. But there were just moments of direction that didn't mesh with it. And then there are moments of direction that mesh with it perfectly. But it makes those other moments feel even worse because they feel even more out of place. So in a way, it was worse that it wasn't consistent the whole way through. It had so many of those moments where it was like, man, you're on the right track with the tone, but the way you're directing this movie doesn't lend itself to that. There were too many of those moments to be forgivable, and to the point where I started noticing that. I noticed them very early on, actually. It was the first problem I noticed with the movie, and then it gets to times where they mesh, and it's like, okay, they fixed it. And then it just goes right back to having the same problem. He clearly had great sequences planned out and great sequences in mind when he went into writing and directing this movie, but I think he was sort of lost on what to do with the rest of the movie, so he sort of went to just how movies are shot and how movies are directed, as opposed to the other sequences where it's like, oh, that's original and that's something I've never seen before and that fits the tone. It just felt inconsistent in a way, and I really, if it had been a consistent flow throughout the whole movie, I would call this a great film. But nevertheless, overall, it is a good movie. I recommend it. I think you should definitely check it out. It's funny, it's action-packed, it's original, and it's interesting. Despite some flaws, it's a very good movie that I would recommend to most people. I don't think it's going to make much money, and I want to see it make more money. I want to see all these original movies make more money, because A24 is slowly getting lifted off the ground, becoming more mainstream. And if we can get a mainstream film company producing original content, that's a step in the right direction. That's what I'm looking for. Definitely check this one out. It's worth the watch. It's not long. It's an hour and a half. It's fun. It's entertaining. Check it out instead of Fate of the Furious. So, what did you guys think? Have you seen Free Fire? Have you not seen Free Fire? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.